Hey boys and girls, welcome back to Pokémon Violet. In the last episode, we delved deep into the artistic mind that really is the Elite Four's very own art teacher at the Uva Academy, Professor Hazel, learning of not only his connection to artisan gym leader Bracius, both being artists in their own rights, and how Bracius looks up to Hazel as his hero in life because of him saving his life and integrity as an artist. But we also learned about his prestigious lineage that's been hell-bent on bringing him back within their inner fold to crown him as their next head of their family. But with his burning passion towards the arts being too strong to break his resolve, he chose to live out his very own path, and not one that's been forced upon him by his family ever since his birth. And because of his love for the arts essentially ascending ever since he took up the mantle of teaching others the wonders of creativity, it's given him a much higher purpose in life than the one he was born to do. So honestly, it was quite an interesting story, and he even had a major storyline inside of his classroom, which was interesting. So, yeah, he was definitely much more fleshed out, in my honest opinion, when it came to his story, compared to the other teachers. So, I was very surprised about that one, because it went from like, one storyline to, like, two of them, almost instantly, which was pretty cool. Since the classes typically just stay to, like, classes, but Bracius actually came in and gave us, like, a whole, like, lore dump on everything to do with Hazel and Bracius's past and everything. It was very interesting. I was not expecting that, and that's one good reason for why we do everything we've been doing. So, honestly, with that being said, I did say in the end of the last episode we would be focusing more on Nemona and Arven today, just to give myself a little bit of an easier one to do for today, just because, like I said in the last one, I was still sick, and I still am, so I feel like doing, an easier one would be better when it comes to, on my voice and everything, so I think it would be easier to just do Nemona and Arven today, than trying to go through either Time or Rayfort, since we still have to do the whole class for Rayfort and Time. So, with that being said, let's get straight on into Nemona first, just because she is our main rival, and, well, Arven is our secondary rival. I think it's fitting for both of them to be, a main part of today's episode. But, with that being said, honestly, let's see how Nemona's doing first, and then we'll get into Arven, obviously. So, let's see what's going on with Nemona's post-game Academy story, I guess you could say, or Academy storyline, or whatever you want to call it. But here we go. Oh hey, Spooks. Hey, Nemona, long time no see. We haven't seen you since the Academy Ace tournaments, when it came to finding the final, opponents for it. But, here we go. Great timing. I've been having the hardest time lining up opponents to battle. Honestly, we've been your only opponent that you actually were able to battle at your fullest, so that's kind of surprising you're looking for other ones. But now I found you in the schoolyard, no less. It'd be silly not to battle, what do you say? Sure. You really want to battle right now? I knew I could count on you. Are we really gonna battle? Oh, okay. You spent 2 whole hours battling Pokemon with Nemona. Okay, I was about to say, because I thought we could only fight her in the Academy Ace tournament. I was about to say that would be cool if there was a way to fight her outside of that, but apparently that was just part of her story. Okay, I was about to say. Good stuff. Gotta stop my game, so I'll be ready anytime for the Academy Ace tournaments. Which makes sense. I know I sprained my battle fever on you out of nowhere. Thanks for being up for it. No problem, Nemona. No problem whatsoever. Okay, so first one's done. So now we gotta go find where she went. Since we know from Penny and Clavell, since they're a little bit different when it comes to their storylines. So it looks like we just need to, obviously, find him. It doesn't say, like, you ranked up or whatever. You just find them all. But, here we go. Looks like we got another one hiding in here. So you're good for a battle, right? Great. Meet you at the schoolyard in a minute. She really got a fight? Hold up. You're Nemona, right? Like, the student council president? That Nemona? Yep, that's her. Yep, that's me. Yeah, maybe some other time. Yeah, don't blame me, dude. She is a champion rank trainer, and you're probably nowhere even near that. Spooks. Hola. Who is that? Friend of yours? Yeah, who was that anyways? Did you know him? Oh, him. Do you know who he was? Oh, you're just asking random people. I was just munching my sandwich and I heard him bragging about his tough Pokemon, so I invited him to a battle. Oh, so you caught him bragging, so you're like, oh, he must be really good. That's funny. Poor dude got the worst possible challenger for him, just because Nemona is literally, like, known for being the strongest trainer in the school, and, we're the one above her now, but before we came around, she was the strongest trainer at the school, above Geeta, too, so, yeah, that's definitely pretty funny. Poor dude didn't see that one coming from a mile away. I wonder what Pokemon he's gonna use. Can't wait to see. Well, he said that he wasn't gonna battle you. Wait, I forgot to get his contact info. How are we supposed to plan when he, will face off? I don't think he wants to fight. Oh well, I'll make sure we battle next time I run into him. Okay, well, you can definitely try. It didn't look like he wanted to fight, though. Anyways, guess you came to get some grub. Nope, we're just trying to find you, honestly. Well, I'm not one to stand between someone and their meal. Catch you later. Well, catch you later indeed, Nemona. So far, hers seems to be a little bit faster than Penny's was. And well, Clavell's wasn't long either, to be completely honest. So we might be able to do both Arven and Nemona today's episode. I wasn't too sure on that one, to be honest. But it looks like we very well may be able to, because Nemona seems to be going a little bit faster than I thought it was. Which is good, because, we get to do both of them. Because Penny's took up almost a whole episode on its own. So, let's be honest here. I was definitely thinking this one was going to be long as well, but that was because of Team Star. So it does make sense why Penny's was a little bit longer, because it was reintroducing all of Team Star and them getting back into the school and everything. But still pretty interesting, though. She's trying to find new opponents that might be able to, stand up to her. I think she should stick to the teachers in the Uva Academy Ace tournament. And us, because we're her rival. Maybe Arven and Penny. She should probably ask them. I'm surprised she hasn't yet, if she has. Maybe she has, I'm not sure. Better stock up real good on Pokeballs while I'm here. Well, you probably need a couple of those, because we did learn that you're not good at throwing Pokeballs, so maybe needing a lot of them would be a good idea. Spooks. Oh my gosh, listen to this. Remember that guy from the cafeteria? Yep, we remember him. I ran into him again in the entrance hall, so I asked him to battle, but he said no. Oh, well, I kinda saw that one coming. He was like, what's the point? You're a champion in a battle whiz. You'd wreck me. Why were you, flaunting your tough Pokemon then, if you didn't want somebody to fight you, bud? It's like, what's the point? If you can't walk the walk, don't talk the talk. Like, that's like a basic saying. But okay. Apparently, he did not want to battle, which we could see based on what he was saying right before he walked off. But still, though, I'm surprised that, like, I guess he wasn't expecting Nemona of all people to pop up. But the thing is with a person that's like Nemona, like, being crazy for battles, you probably should choose your words a little bit more carefully. because she's pretty well known in the school. So, you know, well, he didn't recognize her right away, too. But still, though, you should be a little careful with your wording around a battle-crazy person like Nemona, just to be completely honest.
I don't get what he meant. I mean, you can have fun battling even if you lose, right?
Not all rivals have fun with it. There's been a couple rivals that we've seen through the newer games that literally hate the idea that they lose all the time. Yeah, it's definitely... You're one of the very few that doesn't hate it. But there is some very, very notable people. Hop is definitely one. You got, Bede is definitely another. Trying to think of another one. I always get Hop and the... How. Yeah, that was his name. I always get How and Hop mixed up. I don't know why. It's obviously the spelling of their name, but I always get them mixed up. But both of them don't like getting beats. So, obviously, the rival for Sun and Moon, and then obviously the rival for Sword and Shield, or both rivals for Sword and Shield, don't like being beat. And technically, you can also say, how do you say his name? Gladius. That's another one, too, from Sun and Moon, that doesn't like being beat. But, yeah, there's a choice few rivals that don't like being beat, for sure. Gary's definitely one from the original, technically Silver for the Gold and Silver games, or Heart Gold, Soul Silver. But, yeah, definitely, there's a couple of them that definitely don't like it, but Nemona is one of the choice few that really doesn't mind, which is actually a breath of fresh air, honestly. But, let's continue. Let's see. Yeah, you can. Winning's nice, though. Yeah, you can definitely have fun. I don't really get the whole jealousy thing, but when you're the protagonist and you're always winning, and it's in story you're supposed to always win against the rivals in the older games. This one you can kind of see it as you lose and win against Nemona over the course, and the game kind of makes it like that in the story. But for the poor rivals in the previous games, it's canon that you always destroy them in battle. So, yeah, I definitely could see why they would get a little jealous right away like that, but it's a little unfortunate for them, because, you know, the story doesn't give them the chance to really shine. Sometimes the rivals can win the first battle, though. And, well, now, that doesn't really happen as much nowadays, because they start with their weaker starter against you. They used to pick the one that's stronger against you, so if you chose, like, Squirtle, Gary would choose, obviously, Bulbasaur, and then vice versa for all the other different types of starters. Normally, it would be you would choose Charmander and he'd pick Squirtle, because a lot of people picked Charmander back in the old games. But, honestly, yeah, definitely nowadays you don't really lose your first battle anymore either. But it really depends on how you really see it, honestly. But, let's continue.
For real? I mean, sure, no one loves losing, but it's definitely not pointless. It teaches you stuff.
True. That's also something, too. Losing is definitely, you know, battle experience.
Oh, man. Pokemon battles can get so complicated sometimes.
True.
Oh, and I wish he hadn't called me a whiz. I work hard at this stuff. It's not like it all just comes naturally to me.
And that's, you know, that wasn't really fair either, to be honest. Because, well, let's be honest here. You try hard, you train your Pokemon, obviously you're gonna get good at battling. So, let's say this kid, he probably doesn't train his Pokemon enough. Well, obviously he's not gonna be a hard trainer. Let's be honest here. But, yeah, you really shouldn't call her a whiz. It's kind of, you know, you go out and do it, and you get better. Simple as that. that's pretty much, you could apply that to pretty much anything. R is a little bit harder to apply it to, but for pretty much anything, you could pretty much apply it to anything if you really want to.
Like throwing Pokeballs obviously doesn't come naturally to me, for one thing.
And that was something we learned back at the very beginning when we first met her.
I think I need a mental reset. I'm gonna find someone to battle.
Okay, who are you gonna battle?
See you soon, Spooks.
Well, see you soon indeed, Nemona. And let's go find her for one last time, I think? Because it seems like it's been for every character, but I don't know if Nemona is going to be an exception because of her being our main rival. So, I'm honestly not sure if it's going to be the final one, but it very could be.
There you are, Spooks. I had a feeling you'd turn up if I hung out here for a while. And lo and behold, I was right.
Well, that's good to hear.
Well, now that I found you, we should swing by my room and have a chat.
Okay, so yeah, this is definitely the final one, because with Penny, we went to her room as well. Interesting room. She's got a Pidgeot, Tyranitar, and Meryl box of Poke Food? Or are those Poffins? Oh, and she even has all her badges too, and a little plaque there. That's cool.
Tata-chan, welcome to the Zona Nemona.
Well, that's an interesting name to call your room. Fitting, though. It's very you. It's so tidy. Well, it's very you. You got all your battle achievements right next to your little computer there. We don't have a computer in our room, I don't think. That's interesting.
I'll think. Wait a second. I bet we've been to your room before.
Well, it is different. You have little plaques. We don't have that.
But have I never had you over here? Wild.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Anyways, listen, Spooks. You know how I really like Pokemon battles? Like, really, really like them.
Yeah, you sure do. Or I noticed. But yeah, you definitely like them.
Cool. And yeah, you know how when you really like something, you dive in deep?
Yeah, I definitely understand that.
That's what I did with Pokemon battles. I just kind of became a champion.
Okay.
But then I found out that that's pretty special, and that normally isn't not so simple for most people. People would tell me to my face that I only managed it because I have some innate gift, or because I was raised differently, or whatever.
Well, you could be like Ash and spend, multiple IRL years, becoming champion, and you don't have to have an innate gift for it, because poor Ash went through it multiple times, and throughout the anime, technically it all spanned in 1 year because he never aged, but it took multiple years in, real life for them to finally get to that point in the story, for him to finally become a champion, and become, like a battle master, and just in general, a Pokemon master in general. And although his goal was never to catch all the Pokemon, his old friend, Go, in the newer season, well, that was his goal, which was pretty interesting. I definitely need to look into that anime. I heard it was pretty good for the newer one, but I never got the chance to, but I've heard, stories about it. But that was, that was definitely a pretty interesting, thing for over the course, because that's definitely an era is now over, because, well, Ash's story is over. But you don't need to be, an innate battler or any of that. You just, keep powering through it. You'll eventually become a champion based on Ash's adventure, for sure. But, well, Nemona was definitely, I guess you could say lucky, but, well, let's be honest here. She knew what she was doing. And that's how you become a champion. You know what you're doing. And you'll eventually become one. And that's how the world of Pokemon works. I know we're, spectators to it all when we play these characters, and obviously we're going to get through there without, luck. It's honestly just, we know what we're doing over the course of the main character, the protagonist, or whatever you want to say. Obviously, you're going to become a champion very, very soon as you start your journey. But, well, not many other characters other than the protagonist really hit that goal. So, honestly, hats off to Nemona. She did it, and she did it just as fast as any other protagonist of any other game, which is pretty good, honestly. But, let's see.
It suddenly started to feel like there was this invisible wall between me and everyone else.
That sucks.
So I started going easy. When I battle my friends, I just wanted everyone to have fun.
Which was what she did for us.
But don't worry. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going, 100% all out.
Well, that's good to hear.
Especially since I'm lucky enough to have an opponent around who can beat me, even when I'm in full hardcore mode.
Well, that's definitely true.
So just promise me one thing, okay, Spooks? Promise you'll always stay my equal, you and me, true rivals.
You know what? That's what friends are for. Yep, that's definitely what friends are for. So don't worry about it, Nemona.
You're the best, Spooks. Thank you.
No problem. No problem whatsoever.
Oof. It got pretty personal. Little bit embarrassed over here.
I'm surprised you're embarrassed. You seem to be, an open book when it comes to everything. But apparently, we actually got you to be embarrassed, which is kind of surprising.
Anyways, since we're equals, I gotta start having you over as much as we can. Hang out in, I gotta start having you over as much as we hang out in your room.
That only happened like twice, but okay.
Feel free to burst on in to the zone in Nemona whenever you want.
Okay. Yeah, sure, we can definitely do that.
And get ready for the Academy Ace tournament, because I'm gonna stomp you this time.
I'd definitely like to see you try, just because of the fact that, honestly, we have way too many victories now when it comes to that. Just because, when we did that, we went through it at least 20 times, I think, for that episode. It was a 3-hour-long recording for me, and it was about like an hour of footage for you guys. So, yeah, it was not an easy episode to record, but it was a fun one. I will definitely say that one. But apparently this is all her Pokemon right here. So we have her 6, and then she has 3 others, one definitely being her Tauros that was shown off in the beginning. I wonder why she never used it. But let's see here, a meticulous training schedule is written out here. Then we have all her little badges too. Can we look at her? Yep, we can. Nemona's gym badges are squeaky clean. There's a plaque with a shield on it too. A shield, you say? Like Sword and Shield? That's interesting. I'm curious about that. It would take me a little bit to find out about it in Violet, but that's very interesting. Violet's our game, but what I'm meaning is, if I were to play up to this point in Scarlet, I could easily do it really quickly, but I'm very curious if that would be a sword instead for that plaque. That's an interesting thing. It might be an Easter egg.
I'm making my Pokemon some food. I think a tablespoon means different amounts to different people.
Yeah, that's pretty true. That's very true, honestly. But let's head out to the cafeteria now, since it's time to finally take a nice good old reunion with Arven here too, with our secondary main rival. Since, honestly, Penny was less of a rival and more of a friend, but she ended up technically being a rival. But Arven and Nemona were our true rivals throughout the entire game. But here we go. Yo, Spooks, you grabbed something to eat too? Kinda. I was more here to see how you were doing. Man, you sure did give me a beating in the Academy Ace tournament. Seems like all my closest buddies are in another league, you know. Well, you're definitely a champion rank trainer based on what we read in the upper area of the main, just in general, when you first walk into the school. If you go up to the middle top area, you can actually see all the champion rank trainers, and Arven and Penny definitely become them, or are them right now. So, you definitely should be about on our league, though, bud.
Look at you. Just, up and became a champion in your first year to boot. That's pretty amazing, right? Then there's Nemona. Top marks in every class at school, and she's champion rank too. And I hear Penny's got some kind of offer to work for the Pokemon League or something.
That is definitely true.
I seem to be the only average one around here. Nothing special about me.
You're great at cooking. Dad's super famous. Well, you're great at cooking. That is definitely true.
Nah, it's just like a hobby, really. I only learned how to do the basics because my dad wasn't around to cook for me.
Well, true. Poor dude.
Wait, my dad. See, now that Mabo's doing so much better, since Treasure Hunt is still going and all, I've been thinking of a new goal to find myself.
Well, that's good to hear.
And I guess you've really got to start by knowing where to come from, which means I should learn about my dad, right?
Well, fair. That would definitely be an interesting, thing to get into.
He was a student at the school once, too. That's what I heard.
Which would be the case because we did see his book, his name in the same book that says that Arven's a champion and Penny's a champion. Which is the case, and also Seda would be too, based on the fact that Seda's name is in Scarlet. So we can mark down Arven, Toro, and Seda, a whole family, being a part of the champion rank trainers, while the choice few champion rank trainers in the academy, including Clavell, but still though, it's still pretty interesting nonetheless.
I'm gonna search the whole school for info about what kind of person he really was.
There's definitely gotta be something.
Thanks for the inspiration, little buddy.
No problem, Arven. No problem whatsoever. I don't mind helping you there. I'm wondering what he will end up finding, but it looks like he's in Clavell's office. So let's head over to the director's office and see what's going on with Arven and Clavell. Yep, definitely both of them here. So, looks like we get a little bit more story with Clavell here, which is pretty good.
Spooks, boy did you pick a great moment to stop on and take a look at this. This is supposed to be a sample from my dad's research from back when he was a student.
Really? Now that's interesting.
That's what Director Clavell told me. He's been helping me out.
Well, thanks, Clavell. Good old Clavell doing good old Clavell things. When Toro was a student of this academy, I was still a mere researcher myself. Interesting. Among my peers, it was already being You sure bandied? You mean band-aided? That's a weird way to say it. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to say band-aided. But, okay. Being band-aided about that an astoundingly gifted young man was studying at Uva Academy. Maybe it isn't. That's just a word I just don't know, I guess.
So he really was amazing right from the start, huh?
Apparently so. Gifted from the start.
Guess I never really questioned it, but why is your office full of all this equipment anyways?
Well, he's taken up the role of the Pokemon professor, obviously, because he was the one that gave us our Pokemon in the first place, which is usually the professor's job. So you've finally noticed, have you? This room was once your father's research lab. Oh. And that would make even more sense why Clavell took up the position.
Was?
From what I've heard, recounted, he apparently would become so absorbed in his research that he hardly ever returned to his dorm room. He spent most nights sleeping here, in fact. I also find myself more at ease surrounded by such research equipment, so I took the liberty of adapting the room to serve as my office. So this used to be Toro's room. Interesting.
I never knew. All these pieces of my dad's left, they were right in front of me this whole time. Spent so long trying not to think about them that I never even noticed until now.
Oh, poor Arven. And it would be his mom in the other game.
Thanks for telling me about this, Director Clavell.
Interesting.
And Spooks, thanks for being here with me to learn about it too.
No problem, buddy. Big buddy. Master Arven, I almost intended to explain about these trophies here. And he's already gone. Rather hard to pin down, isn't he? Off like a flash as soon as some new thought crosses his mind. Well, he's definitely got a lot of things to think about. My dear Toro, I think that son of yours takes after you a very great deal. Not the same dreams, but definitely, I wanted to look about these trophies, but nope, we can't look at them. I wonder, does Clavell say anything? If you ever need help with any school-related matters, I shall be happy to lend an ear. Oh, sadly nothing. But it was worth a shot, because I was kind of curious about those trophies, but it doesn't look like we'll be... Well, maybe Clavell will come back. I'm not sure if he will, because some characters only show up for one. So, you never know. But it would be interesting. Let's see here, where is Arven? Oh, here we go. Oh, he's over by the Violet book. Interesting. Okay, why are you over here, buddy?
Yo, champ, come to hit the books.
No, just passing through? Yeah, exactly. Nope, just passing through. Trying to find you, to be completely honest.
What? You just felt like climbing all those stairs to train your legs or something?
I didn't walk on any stairs. You have to go, you're down the bottom floor, bud.
You want to know why I'm here? Yeah, still working on my little treasure hunt. Trying to find myself and all.
Fair enough.
While I was here, in the entrance hall digging through my dad's research reports, found this on one of the bookshelves.
Okay, so he actually is bringing up the Violet book. So we found it on our own, but the story actually brings it up for you too. That's cool.
This book was so precious to my dad that he even kept a copy of it in the lighthouse lab. Violet book, and that's what it's called, right? This is my first time really reading bits. Then, art about Herb and Mystica. They're amazing. I mean, it all sounds super fake, but it's got all these cool pictures and it's real fun to read. Like, look at this entry here.
Oh. Now that's a very specific page. They wanted you to see this page. And we've read this before, but I'll read it again. A disc Pokemon, while separated from the research team in the crater's depths, I found a strange entity. Whether it was a Pokemon or even alive at all, I know now it bore a shell with layers of overlapping hexagons. And there's hexagons again, like the with the whole thing with the art class and everything, and well, apparently the shape of Jacques' glasses, but that was more brought off by Hazel. And it does actually look like a dragon, I think. It's like an egg with a dragon on top of it with like a crown on its back. It's kind of what I'm seeing, but I'm not really sure what I'm really looking at, to be honest. But hexagons again comes up. That's interesting. And gleamed brighter still than a gemstone. Viewed as a whole, it was... I'm trying to think of what that is. It resembles a mysterious brilliant disc. I think a couple letters are missing in some of them. But that's basically a rough translation of what it is, or could be, what it's supposed to translate into. But interesting though, a disc Pokemon with hexagons. We saw this before, but I thought I should reread it because, the game is bringing it up in story this time and not from us finding the book and reading out the information in it.
Text on this page is all smudged and blurry, and every copy of this book I've ever seen. Seems kinda suspicious, right?
Kinda.
Of course, the whole book is full of unbelievable stories, her Mystica being one of them. But they turned out to be real.
So they all have to be real, let's be honest there.
And after everything we saw in Area Zero, well, makes it hard to say it's all nonsense, huh?
True. Plus, there's a lot of really very specific books, like the imagined Pokemon. That's obviously going to be a Pokemon in the future. There's no way that they design a Paradox version of Entei, Suicune, or Raikou. Still don't know which one it actually is. And then a Paradox version of Virizion, Terrakion, or Cavalion, because they're mixtures of all three of them. There's no way those are gonna be Pokemon at all. They're definitely either gonna be mystery gifts or some kind of third story. I really don't know. I'm still taking everything with a grain of salt. I should have said that before whenever I brought that up, but I definitely do think we will get those Pokemon at least as mystery gifts in the near future. Could be a movie, could be something else, but the game has to update in order to have them in them, because I don't think they're in the code whatsoever. So, definitely interesting, for sure. But, if those Pokemon are hiding, what are the legendaries for this game going to be? Because that's what I'm really curious about. Because this is the first real Pokemon game where only one true legendary, is locked between both versions. So that's very interesting, because all four legendaries outside of the box legendaries are in both games and you can catch them. So I'm very curious what they're going to end up being, because I haven't seen them yet. I'm very curious on what they're going to be, and whenever we get to do them, I'm definitely looking forward to it. But let's continue.
Fact, I think I might have been this book. It made my dad want to become a researcher in the first place. But he got so fixated with the future Pokemon he read about in here that it made him want to see one for himself. Wait, hold on. Isn't my dad's time machine the whole reason the future Pokemon ended up here in the first place?
Well, I kind of guessed that last part. I was just saying that because it made sense to me, but apparently that was part of the dialogue.
This book is from way back before he made the time machine, but mentions future Pokemon. So that kind of weird.
Probably didn't even make it. He probably fixed it. That's what I think. But it is weird that he said he made it specifically.
Oh well. I'm sure it's all just made up anyway.
It's not, man. Come on. We literally lived through it. There's no way none of that, all of that is, wrong. It's definitely, all of it's good or all of it's bad. That's how that works when it comes to that book at this point. And we've already seen the future Pokemon and the Paradox Pokemon. Those Pokemon exist. There's no way around it. And even the little, the square with the circles is even shown inside there, which was the place where we found Iron Valiant and Roaring Moon, respectively, in both versions. So, yeah. Everything that we specifically can read has to be real. Just because of that. So, the Imagine Pokemon and the Disc Pokemon definitely are something. But what they are, who knows? And when they will come, who knows as well. But when they do come, that would be pretty cool, nonetheless.
But my dad believed that nonsense. He managed to make it a reality. Guess he really was something. I'm gonna learn from his example. Start giving it my all too. I've got something I gotta do now. But I'll see you around, little buddy.
See you around, big bud. But we still got one more time to find you. And then we should be done with you. Based on, Nemona being done after that. So, if we see... Oh, well, apparently Nemona's room actually pops up down there. Which makes sense that it does, but I just, I forgot that did that with Penny, to be completely honest. And now we're actually inside Arven's main homeroom, which is interesting. This is a place where we've never actually been. Still looks similar to every other classroom, but still though, pretty cool. It looks like, based on this kid talking the way he is, I'm guessing this must be the language arts room, specifically. But, let's see, what's going on with Arven for his final little story here. Lost in thought, it looks like. You okay, bud?
I was focused so hard, didn't even notice it, bud.
It's all good, bud.
No, I know. Pretty rare to see me actually studying, right?
Well, probably a good thing based on the fact that we overheard that you were kind of bad on your credits.
But I'm pretty good status. I'm at a pretty good stopping point. How about a break? Could use a change of scenery anyways.
Don't blame me, buddy. Let's see here. If he takes us to his room, yep, we're near the end. Okay. Interesting little room. And even has a little place for Mabostiff to kind of chill out and, sleep. And he has a little tennis ball. I saw it for a second. Interesting little room. Oh, and he even has a little picture of him as a little baby. That's cool.
What do you think? Welcome to Shez Arven. Well, Shez Arven and Mabostiff, really.
Really screams Arven. It's surprisingly clean. Well, it does definitely scream Arven, with the food everywhere. And some kind of comic book over there on his bed.
Yeah, no, right? Wait, what screams Arven to you?
Can I say it? Nope, I guess not.
Anyways, found the reason you saw me studying in the classroom like that.
It's all good, you don't have to explain it.
Went back and read the pages about her and Mystica in the Violet book again.
What about it?
Made me remember how things were back when Mabostiff was all weak and everything. Couldn't seem to do anything about not to help him. Boy, sure didn't feel good. Of course, I'm really glad I was able to find all the Herb and Mystica together with you.
No problem, buddy. It was definitely a pretty fun journey, for sure.
But there's gotta be other people who are still suffering the way I was back then. Worrying about their Pokemon there that are sick or hurt.
So, are you gonna become a doctor? Like good old Brock? Definitely a pretty noble way to go.
So I don't laugh, okay? I've decided, that I'm gonna become a cook.
Oh, really? Interesting. Well, you should definitely, go to Cascarafa and, go see Kofu. He could definitely show you the ropes when it comes to that, becoming a good cook. He's literally known as the surging chef. So, definitely worth a shot, for sure.
I'm gonna make super healthy food. Burst full of stuff Pokemon need to feel great.
So, a Pokemon chef. Or Pokemon Doctor Chef, like Brock. That definitely reminds me of Brock even more now. I'll be behind you all the way. I'm sure you can pull it off. I'll definitely be behind you the whole way there, buddy.
Yeah, thanks. Knew I could count on you to be all supportive all like that. Culinary world might be a bit different, but I swear, I'm gonna be just as famous as my dad. So I guess I can close the book on my little hunt to find myself. It's time to start a new chapter. One that's all about working towards my new dream.
Well, that's good to hear, Arven.
And hey, feel free to stop by my room anytime. Mabostiff will always be glad to see you.
Definitely good to hear. And, definitely both Arven and Mabostiff are our friends, so there's no point in not going to see him. He's a huge dog, though. That's a big dog. And I also like the fake eyes, too. It's really accentuated when it comes to when Mabostiff specifically terrestrializes and actually makes its eyes look like the fake eyes look like real eyes even more, which is interesting. And you can barely, you can kind of see it, but I had to mention it specifically to kind of like push it into your guys' vision a couple times, just because you only see it twice in the game. So, or a couple times, depending on how many times you fight Arven, obviously. But 2 times specifically. But, let's see what's going on with Arven one last time, before we do anything else.
Mabostiff is still doing great. Thanks to all the hard work you and me put in, of course.
Well, good to hear. And also, I'm curious about this picture. It's a framed picture of a Mastiff. Obviously, Mabostiff as baby. What's going on with this comic book? Bedspread is bright, cheery color. Oh, okay, I was thinking we could look at the book. But it looks like maybe not. Yeah, looks like a no. And then we got the map of the of the entire region, as well as a little bit of Kalos on the top right. It's a map of Paldea. There are notes stuck to it about places Arven's investigated. Oh, that's cool. Huh. Interesting. I don't think there's much else for us to look at. This raincoat's kind of interesting, but I don't think we can look at it yet. Not really. But yeah, definitely, this room does remind me of Arven quite a lot. And there's a little bed for, well, not really a bed, but I guess Mabo Stiff could sleep in that. And his little tennis ball. And then you have his, like, little fruits and vegetables and all this other stuff. That's pretty cool. But yeah, it definitely reminds me of a room for Arven for sure. There's no way around that one for sure. But honestly, with that being said, a short and sweet and to the point episode. Very, wholesome episode for sure. Since we got a little bit of a, return to the roots of the game being with Nemona and Arven. Since it's been a while since we've seen them. So, been a little while since we've seen Penny too, but we're done with Penny's story. And now we're officially done with Arven and Nemona's. For the time being, until there's like a future story with, if there is anything to do with the disc Pokemon or the Paradox Pokemon with any kind of extra story, if there is any. But, honestly, with that being said, there's only, a couple things we still have left to do. We still have to do Time's story, we still gotta do Rayfort's story, finish up with Jacques, and that's literally just 5 Pokemon for the Pokedex, and catch the 4 legendaries as well as Gimmighoul's evolution, and then as well as refighting Team Star. So we are definitely getting closer and closer to the end of our series. And honestly, with that being said, thank y'all for watching, have a wonderful rich day, keep being spooky, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.
Hey boys and girls, thank you all for watching today's episode. If you liked what you saw today, please leave a like and maybe even subscribe. And hit the bell notification down below. If you guys have any kind of suggestions for games, please put that in the comments down below as well. Thank you all for watching today's episode, and keep being spooky. Peace out, guys.